Hey, welcome to my channel. If today's game doesn't tell you otherwise, or so far the start of the second half doesn't tell you otherwise, it should be clear right now as we speak. The Mets should be sellers. I mean, today they've traded Tyler J to the Brewers for TJ Shook. 4.90. Guy has 4.90 in like not even double A, and he hasn't gone beyond double A. So who knows what will happen there. But the fact is like Tyler J was never going to do anything with the Mets anyway, so might as well trade him off and see. Maybe Stearns has something in plan for TJ Shook and probably could trade him off with the package deal for someone else. I don't know. But so long as the Mets don't give up any of their good prospects, that's all that matters to me. But quite honestly, it's more so to the point where let's be honest. I mean, this is the Marlins. The Marlins. The Mets should be sweeping the Marlins. They should be 3 games, 3 wins right there with the Marlins with the sweep for tomorrow, which is not happening. Um, I don't know what to say. And then of course, come Tuesday, Wednesday, they play against the Yankees. It'll be interesting to see how that plays out. And then this Thursday till the Sunday of July 28th, they go against the Braves. If they can take out the Braves and win 3 out of 4, or even 500, 2 games out of the 4 games. I mean, Mets might be okay, but reality is, let's be honest, the fact that they couldn't beat the Marlins, I have a feeling they're not going to beat the Yankees. They're probably going to be swept by the Yankees. It's not going to work for them. Honestly, I think this is a case where the Mets have to be sellers. I know you're going to say it's like, no, 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 they can't be sellers, but because like they're still in the wild card spot, still in the wild card hunt. But let's be blunt. Um, the Mets are not going to last this long. A 10 game losing streak pretty much is what it's going to end up at that point, quite honest. And they're not that far from a 10 game losing streak. Let's be honest. They could lose 10 games very easily and quickly. They're in a dead heat right now with the Diamondbacks Padres for that last wild card spot. And the Padres and let's not forget the Diamondbacks. They can be red hot eventually. They'll come back being red hot. Padres, they'll probably be red hot. And the fact is, the Pirates are only like half a game behind as well too. I would not be surprised unless the Cardinals suddenly go on a losing streak as well too. This is the Mets team that I don't have complete faith in. I mean, quite honestly, Senga comes back. He's got to regain his form. Let's be honest. Last year, first half of the season, he wasn't doing so great. It was towards the tail end, like the second half that he started picking up things, and that's when we realized, hey, he's the ace. When the reality is like, let's be honest, Senga is not an ace. He's not your number one starter, number two starter in any other team. He's probably your back of the rotation type of guy more than anything else. Severino, I mean, I hate to say this, but like after the Yankees game, because let Severino get that. Hopefully, Severino could get you that win. But outside of that, I say trade him, get some prospects in return. I hate to say this, but like with with Alonso, I think it comes to the point where he, if you trade, quite honestly, I think it's a perfect fit for him and the Astros, and the Astros are willing to probably give up a lot of their top prospects for Alonso because he could bring him over that hump. Quite honestly, to the point where like by getting there, he where are they at actually? They're in first place, but they're tied with the Mariners, and like it's going to be a dead it's going to be a run between the Mariners and the Astros, and let's not forget the Rangers. Once Scherzer's back and Degrom starts pitching again, I mean it's going to be a whole different story altogether. And then Verlander, he can only last so long. The Astros need that offense. If they're willing to give up a lot of their prospects for Alonso, that'd be great. Or maybe even the Mariners themselves as well too. Like trading off to the Mariners, it'd be great too. Quite honestly, if I'm the Mets, I would trade Alonso to the Guardians, get some serious prospects from them because I got some senior prospects, and the Guardians would be willing to give up. Like they need that extra bat too. I mean, they do have the second best, third best record outside of the Philadelphia Phillies, but it'll be interesting to see how that works as well too. Um, but yeah, I hate to say this, but like this is not going to go. This is not boding well for the Mets this season. I mean, if they're in the wild cards, that's great. But honestly, I think Without Alonso, they could still make that run to the wild card spot. They won't make a. They're not going to make a deep run no matter what. With or without Alonso, they're not making a deep run unless they have some serious pitching and the bullpen is bolstered up. So honestly, I don't want the Mets to giving up any of their prospects. So quite honestly, I think they could trade Alonso, get some prospects in return, and re-sign him back once he becomes a free agent. Use Batty as your first baseman, and maybe showcase Batty a little bit as your first baseman. If you could showcase him a little bit, and he proves out to be really good or worthy enough, you could trade him in the offseason for some prospects as well too. But outside of that, yeah, I hate to say this, but like if the Mets came out winning against the Marlins, you know, right off the bat, I mean they won one game. If they go 2 out of 4, 500 for the series against the Marlins, it's still a loss, quite honestly, because this is the Marlins. The Mets should have 3 games, 3 out of 4 of these games, if not a sweep. So because of the fact that they're losing like that, I don't think this is something that is going to be worthwhile for the Mets because, again, a 10-game losing streak for them, and they're pretty much out at that point, quite honestly. They would, and I don't think the Mets can keep up this momentum, quite to be blunt. They won't be able to keep up this momentum unless they get some serious serious stars on the team. I mean, this is not going to work out. So I think it's a time for the Mets to become sellers. After the Yankees game, trade off Severino. Of course, trade off Alonso. Marte, if you could get Marte back and then trade him off as a DH for one of the teams, like maybe the Orioles or maybe the Rangers, and get some prospects, that'd be great too. Because he's definitely more of a DH person than anything else. Because like defensively speaking, he's not that great. Um, hey, hell, he might even be better to play with the yeah, maybe the Mariners. Quite honestly, I don't know. Depending where Alonso they trade Alonso off, but outside of that, yeah, if they could trade off, like I said, Lindor, that'd be good. But reality is like they're gonna need him next year as well too. So let's be honest about that. They're gonna need him. The Mets, I would love for them to rebuild from scratch, but that's not happening as well too. But we need some serious pitchers. We need some prospects as pitchers. Budo, he's showing some signs. Scott showing some signs, but the problem is they're not your number one stars, unfortunately. They're probably a 3 or 4 type of person, back of the rotation type of person, people as well too, quite honestly. I hate to say it, Peterson and McGill, I don't think they're your starters, but they definitely can be your mid relievers, like what Seth Lugo and Howman were in the late teens, early 2000s. I think they would be perfect for you guys in that situation because, like, for the first 2, maybe 4 innings, they're pretty good. After that, they kind of taper off. So I think they work really well, and they'd work really well in the bullpen. You just got to convert them at that point. Outside of that, let me know your thoughts. Do you think the Mets should be sellers based on what like the fact that they haven't beaten the Marlins? I mean, they won one game. If they get 2 games out of the 4, do you think that's still a win for the Mets? Let's be honest. Do you think the Mets have a shot? I mean, not making the wild card, but going deep into the playoffs with who they have right now. Do you think the Mets should be buyers, quite honestly, and willing to give some prospects? Do you think they should do that? Do you think the Mets existing? Let's be honest. Do you think the Mets existing starting rotation is good enough? We know the bullpen is not good enough, but do you think their existing starting rotation is good enough to get them to the deep into the playoffs as well too? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section. I do read my comments and I do respond to them. If you like my video, like my channel, like my comments, like my video, like my channel, like my content, please subscribe if you haven't subscribed. And honestly, I would love to converse with people about this. I mean, I would love to create I don't know, like a Zoom type of thing if that's possible and just discuss. That'd be great too. So with some existing Mets fans. With that, I'll leave it at that. Unfiltered, unedited, and of course, always unrehearsed. Until next time.